Hey guys, Scott here going over a new thing that Behaviour is apparently starting called design previews. These are a glimpse into what they are planning to do at a much earlier state in the life cycle of an actual change to the game, which I think is really, really good. This is something, if you've ever watched a video of mine about, Old Legion or Skull Merchant or even Knight or anybody, I've always said that there should be consulting before they actually begin spending resources on a stupid decision. It doesn't matter how much resources they put towards something. If it's a bad idea and they waste time on it, it's going to be considered a failure, which is why Skull Merchant is seen as so terrible, because they keep devoting resources to something that by the start we would be able to see would be a horrible idea. So this is just a really good idea for them to do, and hopefully they keep doing this, where they let everyone in on the design process a lot earlier, so we can say like, no, God, do not do that. And they'll go, okay, thanks. And they don't waste time or resources on it. That's great. That's a win-win for everybody. We don't have to deal with terribly designed things. They don't waste resources on something that shouldn't actually be created in the first place. So the Trickster being changed here is less important than the actual base idea of doing these design previews. So I'm just going to read the actual post itself and then go over exactly what's happening with Trickster. For the most part, Trickster's just getting reverted to how he used to be, but let's go over the whole actual post. We're trying something new with this thread by sharing a sneak peek for some possible gameplay changes, giving you an opportunity to share feedback much earlier in the process. This is a test run. If all goes well, we'd like to keep posts like these coming for select balance changes in the future. So yeah, exactly what I was talking about. That's really good. They need to be at the drawing board stage before they do sweeping reworks or changes. Now, obviously, when there's like a new killer coming out, they can't just leak the new killer that early because, that's going to kill a lot of the hype and the allure of being excited about new content for the game. So that's something they have to do more like with their internal team and maybe even like the consultants that they have. But for everything else, for live changes to already existing content, maps, perks, killers, all that stuff, this is a very, very good idea, and they should definitely stick with this. So the changes we're about to share are not yet confirmed to happen. It's possible this design will be altered before appearing in game or even be scrapped entirely. We ask that you please manage your expectations if they are not implemented into the game, and to expect it to take some time for these changes to be implemented if we decide to move forward. These changes will be tentatively planned for early next year. So they're saying that this is just not really a guarantee. These are not patch notes, basically. This is what they're beginning to they're beginning to cook this stuff. And it's not really even entered the pot yet. It's just what they're planning on doing, and they want to see if the community is receptive to that feedback before they devote resources to it. So for the Trickster, this is the first one. It's basically just reverting it back to old Trickster while keeping the quality of life of new Trickster. So in a nutshell, they're keeping like the no recoil. They're re-adding the increased throw speed per knife and things like that. They're implementing a little bit of add-ons base kit, but for the most part, they're just reverting it back to old Trickster, who's a 110 movement or 110% movement speed killer with a smaller Terradius. The laceration meter is now down to 6 again, so instead of needing 8 knives, you need 6 knives before they're damaged. Then the actual main event takes, not fucking, it's 8 knives for main event. God, I hate Trickster. So main event is going back to 30 knives again. And so basically they're just doing a full reversion while making some stuff, base kit and keeping some quality of life. Their idea behind this was that the Trickster changes were not super well received, which, yeah, I agree. I think the way that they changed Trickster was really stupid. I've made a bunch of videos on why Trickster is not a well-designed killer. Just a very quick summary. For example, in a chase with Trickster and a chase with Huntress, when you turn the corner of Shack, and she's about to round the corner too, she's got a hatchet readied out, and you can have a conscious decision as a survivor. Is she going to throw it? Is she going to hold it? Is she going to assume I'm going to try to juke it and aim a bit to the right? Should I keep going straight knowing that she's going to assume that? You can make these conscious decisions to dodge a hatchet, and hitboxes aside, you can still make a decision that if you are correct in your decision, you are immediately rewarded for it, because that's, you dodge the hatchet, now she loses some distance, she's going to pull another one out. And so it feels a lot better. With Trickster, if you dodge a knife, who gives a shit? You get hit by another knife a third of a second later. You didn't really accomplish anything. So the only real counterplay to Trickster is just sort of running in a straight line as far away as possible while keeping things in between you and the Trickster. It's not really fun. It's just holding W and hoping shit's in the way. It's not very good design at all. And then just making the Trickster a normal movement speed killer on top of that, and then making the main event take like 6 or 8 knives or whatever, was just really dumb. Not many people were happy with the Trickster changes. I feel like very little people even play Trickster to begin with, so it's not like there's going to be a whole wave of angry Tricksters. Now they're getting nerfed again. It's like no one really even plays the new Trickster anyway. So for the most part, I do think that this is probably a good change. I think Trickster, although still not great, was better in his previous form for the overall health of the game than the new form. So this is good. I'm not really sure what the community feedback will be for this yet, but I do think that the whole concept of what they're trying here and giving us the insight a lot earlier is just objectively a good thing. There is no negative way to interpret any of this. So whether you agree or not with the Trickster changes, being let in early in the process is a much, much better idea than what they've been doing, which is devoting resources to things that are obviously bad changes before checking in with everybody. And yeah, so that's all they're doing right now. These might not even hit live, but I do really like what they're doing. That's about it. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about the actual Trickster potential changes. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.